Hello everyone, this is Johannes and you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and today we are taking a look at Auztralia from designer Martin Wallace. He's been one of my more favorite designers lately, with both games I love like Age of Steam, and he has the new Brass editions which are really great games, and this arrived on Kickstarter being one of the strangest games I've ever seen. Like, this is because I haven't played Study in Emerald and all of his like older games that was also strange, so this for me was a first in his strangeness. This is like a training game, resource management game, and then halfway through the game, just Cthulhu just arrives and tries to kill you. That is like one of the strangest things I've ever heard about in a game. I was really unsure if I was going to like it because it seemed to have a lot of randomness, a lot of luck, and also a lot of conflict, even though it wasn't against other players, it was against like a force. It was kind of semi-cooperative, which I don't usually tend to enjoy, so there's a lot of things speaking against me enjoying this game. I played it quite a few times and I haven't decided if I like it or not, so did I like it or did I not like it? We will soon find out. But first, let's just do a quick overview of how to play Auztralia. So, let's take a quick look at how we play Auztralia, this strange little game about railroad building and resource management and fighting Cthulhu, because that's what you want to do in Auztralia. This game is basically based around action selection. You're going to have a player board like this, and on this player board are marks of different actions you can do. Every time it's your turn, you're going to take an action cube and you're going to put it on one of the actions. I can't really do it now because it's going to fall off, but you're going to put it on here. If there's already an action cube there, then you will be able to pay gold to be able to do the action again. So we're going to go through fast the different actions. I'm not going to go into depth about combat. That's basically the most advanced action in the game. First thing you can do is that you can build rail. Two different actions depending on where you want to build. The action always costs time. So that's an important thing about this game. Everything you do costs time. And there's a time track up here at the top of the board. You can almost see it in the video. You can at least see it over here. And every time you do an action, you're going to move on the time track, and it's going to be the last player on the time track's turn to do an action every single time. So in the beginning of the game, that's going to be you and your friends, and when the game is kind of halfway done, Cthulhu is going to come in, or the old ones is going to come in and start breaking havoc and trying to kill you, because that's what they do. So, let's do the actions. Build a rail, you have to pay resources, and you can build 2 rails. Then you can do a mining action, you can do that 2 different times. And then you can choose a space where you have rail connected into, and you can take all the resources of one type from that location. Then you can build farms. You can take, let's say I already mined these resources, then I can build farms in every open slot where I have a connection to, and I can only make one of each type of farm. So for example here I could make a farm here, and a farm there. That's going to cost me 1 time per farm. It's going to give me 3 gold, which I can use for different things in the game. That's also going to be counting victory points at the end. You can build military units. It's going to cost 1 time and some gold, depending on what kind of military units you want to buy. There's different military units over here, and you can only buy 1 for each action, except the infantry, which you can buy 2 of in 1 action. Because they're small and they're kind of meat shields in this game, so you're going to need a lot of them because they're going to die. Then you have the import-export action, where you can either take coal or iron, or you can sell it for gold. And we have the attack action. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that soon. And the last action is basically use a time to take all your cubes in so you can start using the board again. So we're going to go briefly over how combat works. I'm not going to go in deep detail. Every time you choose to combat, you're going to choose which units you want to take and pay time depending on what kind of units you have. Then you're going to choose a space which you can attack. Let's say I have a range of 1, I can attack this and this because my rail is here and here, so it's 1 away from here. Let's say I want to attack this space, I'm going to flip it over and see what it is. So over here I met Amigo, and not Amigo, that's a friend, let Amigo. I met Amigo, it's not gonna be my friend at all. I met that guy and I can now kill him if I want to. And the way that works is that you are gonna pick these cards. This is kind of a push your luck element. You're gonna flip over cards, and depending on what kind of units you use, they're either gonna give damage, and the units maybe give damage back to you, or the enemy is gonna give damage back to you. After you pick the card, you can choose to continue or you can choose to withdraw. If you continue, you can just keep picking cards until either the Migo dies or your units die and you will retreat. Or you won't retreat because you don't have any units left to retreat with. That's basically how combat works in a really, really easy way to explain it. There's more to combat than that, but you can check that out in the rulebook if you want to see more about it. After everybody has passed 22 on the time unit track up here, which you almost can see, then Cthulhu is going to start taking actions. Every time it's Cthulhu's turn, it's going to move one space. If it's a light symbol, it's going to get an action card or an event card, which will spawn some of these and do other nasty things to you. And after that, it's going to move, drawing these cards again, which you also use for movement. Some of these monsters are going to have a white circle around it, and those monsters are going to move. When they move, they're also going to move towards the nearest farm or port. If they go to a farm, it's going to be blighted. That's going to be 1 point for the old ones. If they ever get to your port, there's going to be a final fight. If you win, woohoo, you're happy. If you didn't win, the game ends immediately and you're going to score points. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for the different farms you have. You're going to score points for the phosphor you have. And you're going to score points for different cards, which I basically forgot to explain at action, so I'm going to go back to that. But you're also going to get points for these different monsters. The last action, which I forgot to explain, is that you have, like, it's so hard, like, so many of them, like 8. How can I ever remember to explain all of them? You're going to have these different personality cards, always going to be 5 of them laying beside the board, and you can buy one of them for a time. They're one-time use, once per combat, permanent, or end of game scoring. At the end of the game, the player or the old one with the most points is going to be the winner. The old one is going to get points for their monsters, going to get points for blighted, and going to get double points for monsters you haven't spawned. At the end of that, the winner is the player with the most points. As always, let's start with the artwork and components. And the artwork and components for this game are okay, I guess. Like, there's nothing here to be wowed of, like maybe except for the Cthulhu miniature, which was a Kickstarter exclusive. So when you're not getting that, there's like really nothing to be wow, this is amazing component quality. I think it's kind of okay. It's a bit better than okay, but not amazing. Like, I really enjoy the look of the map. That's maybe the thing that I like the most about the artwork in the game. When I saw like the prototypes, it looked more like an Age of Steam kind of map. Now they made it more stylistic, more interesting looking. But the components are like the railway tokens feel kind of oldish. Like, you know me, I don't mind. If you are like into aesthetics, you're not gonna feel like, wow, this game looks good. It's okay, it's kind of bland, but it does the work, it does the job, it's easy to understand what is what. And I also enjoy the artwork of the different old ones. That is good artwork. So the few pieces of artwork that is here of the old ones and the military is good, and also the board looks good, but it's just some tiles, and I think the railroad tiles maybe are the ones that looks the most bland, and also the farms that are just pieces in your color with either a picture of a cow or a sheep or a corn. So yeah, it's okay. I'm not like wowing over it, but it's right in the middle of the row. I don't know why I'm like repeating this. The artwork and components is good. It does a job, and not fantastic, not horrible. Just in the middle of the road components and artwork, especially components, artwork is a bit better. So that's that. Let's go to gameplay, which, for me is the beat of the game. And here I really want to talk about something that I don't usually do, and that is theme. I've done something with this game that I haven't done with any other game. Like, in the beginning of this rulebook, there is a page. There's a whole page here with the story of the game. And I've actually read that story out loud all of the times I play the game, because I think that it's important to get in the mood of what you're actually trying to do, of what is going on here, because this is a thematic game. This is a game that tries to get you into the story, get you into the theme of what's going on, and I think that helped quite a bit with playing the game. So the first thing we always talk about is enjoyment, and here is where it's got really weird for me, because the first time I played this game, I thought it was okay. I thought it was too luck-based. I thought it was like, I had fun, but I didn't feel like this was something I would enjoy and would want to play a lot more. I just had an okay time. And then it went a couple of days, and I was like, I really wanted to play it again. So I brought it to Sunniva, where she studies, and I took it up and I said to her, okay, I just had to warn you. This is a game with a lot of luck. This is a game with a lot of randomness. We can't control everything like we like to do, and we just have to go with the flow and see what goes on. We played a 2-player game again then, and I had so much fun. I was surprised at how much fun I had, because it was this really different feeling from the first time I played. I don't know what really changed, but I think the thing that changed is that I knew what I was getting. The first time I played, I was like, I hadn't really looked at a lot of videos, I hadn't really seen too much about it. I read the rules, it looked cool, and we played, and I was like, okay, that's a bit too much randomness maybe. But then we played again, as I said, and I kind of knew what I was going into. And it changed the way I thought about the game. It changed maybe how serious I took it. It changed maybe how I played. I knew more how I had to play to actually beat the odds. And all of that made it a fantastic experience. So I had more fun with this game than I ever thought I would do. So enjoyment started kind of low, but got very high after a couple of plays. Ease of play, I will say this is kind of a light game. Not like Ticket to Ride light, but just there's 8 different actions, and those actions are all pretty simple to explain. The attacking and combat thing is the most difficult to explain. It has a couple of moving parts, a couple of things to go through. Other than that, all the actions are almost self-explanatory. I can mine from a place, I take the resources there from one type and put them off, and yeah. And it's pretty simple. You just go through the actions when you teach it, and then you teach combat. I also always teach combat at the end, and then explain how Cthulhu works, all the old ones. I'm just going to say Cthulhu because that's what everybody does. The old ones sounds so... sounds not... It's more fun to say Cthulhu, so I'm going to continue doing that because Cthulhu might be coming for you. So ease of play, yeah. Playtime. We played this game 2 players. I played 2 times 2 players, and it took us about 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour 20 minutes, with 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half hour. No, maybe a bit 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour and 15 minutes. With 3 players, it took 2 hours. That, yeah, was still fun. Like, I didn't mind at all. I love the game with 3 players, but I don't think I will ever play with 4. This kind of blending in player count. 2 and 3 players is perfect. 4 players, I don't think I would ever play that, just because it would take too much time for what I feel I get back from the game. So I think 3 players maybe is the best. 2 player was very good, but I think maybe for me 3 player is the perfect sweet spot. 2-hour gameplay, it can be a bit shorter if you played it before, but most of that time is combat takes a while, and we're gonna, yeah. Combat takes a while. We should talk about combat in probably in final thoughts, because before that it's just replayability, and that doesn't have anything to do with combat. So replayability in this is high. This is a great way to set up the game. You are going to use these kind of setup pieces that you're going to place different places on the map, and it's going to tell you what you put on different spaces around it. And that will make the game different each time. The setup is going to be different each time. I had to tell you, like, the 2 first game we played were kind of similar. Like, one monster appeared, we managed to kill it, and then another monster appeared, we managed to kill it, and then the 3rd time we played with 3 players, Cthulhu arrived, like, pretty early in the game, because some of the tiles got upgraded during the setup. Like, there's different levels of monsters, and Cthulhu arrived, and 2 of the players, we just had to focus on bashing down on Cthulhu to kill him before he got to one of our ports, and the game would just end. So that was so different, and I think the replayability is high because there's such a variable setup. Really going to be different depending on what monsters arrive in different spaces, and how the event decks is shuffled. There's different events, you use 5 of them each time. That's going to make the game different. There's also a map on the other side of the board, which I haven't played, which also is a bit different from how the game will normally play. So I think there's quite a high level of replayability. So final thoughts time. Let's first talk a bit about the combat. This combat is using a deck of cards. Let's see if I can find it here. I went out of the picture. I'm sorry, I just wanted to find the card. I showed them a bit in the rules explanation, but you have this deck of cards that is for combat and movement. And you're going to draw these cards a lot. That might be like my biggest negative of the game, is that combat may take a while. With 2 players, we didn't really mind. Like, some battles were kind of, it's on the edge of being too long. Like, you're gonna draw, maybe some combats you can draw 15, 20 of these cards if you are unlucky, or if you're lucky, whatever you want to call it. Some combats you're just gonna draw 1 and 2 and 3 and you're done. But some combats gonna take a while, you're gonna shuffle it. But I like this much more than rolling a die. So I would have this every day, because you have different units that are going to do different, be better or worse depending on the monster you're attacking. And that is something you can do with these cards, because they have different units attacking different units. It works great. So it's kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of dragging the game a bit to a halt whenever it's going to be an attack, whenever it's going to be a combat, because all the other actions, like I build into reds, done. And like, I'm going to attack that. I'm going to draw a card and 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 draw a card, draw a card and draw a card and draw a card and draw a card, draw a card and draw a card and draw a card and draw, and I'm done. And it kind of feels a bit dragging, but again, I would much rather have this than rolling a die. Just thought you would want to see that. And if you are unsure if you would like the combat system, which I was really unsure if I was going to like it, you can go check out the rules and see if it's something that looks good to you or not, because it's not my place to say if you're gonna like it or not. Other than that, final thoughts. This was a game that surprised me, because I didn't like it the first time I played it. I was kind of lukewarm, being like, okay, so this game wasn't for me, and now I just want to play it again. I had so much fun the other 2 times I played it. I don't have any other game in my collection that does something like this. To the semi-co-op thing, which I usually don't like, in this game it kind of flows really well, because I am trying not to lose the game, and I'm gonna lose the game if some of the monsters comes to any of our ports and kill us, and also if there's like a lot of pieces left on the board at the end of the game, Cthulhu gonna score many points and you're gonna lose. So it's kind of like this, we all want the same thing, but then again, I'm trying to do the most I can to score points as well. And I think maybe like in most semi-co-op games, it's gonna be like in the beginning, everybody's gonna kind of doing the same thing, but depending on what cards you get, the personalities, and depending on what kind of strategy you're going for, you're always trying to get some points here and there, building some farms, getting some phosphor. Like, I could attack that, but I'm gonna take that phosphor instead, because you can attack that, and you also get points for attacking, so you want to do that as well. So it feels kind of like a co-op game, but not, which semi-co-op games usually do, but it doesn't bother me at all here. It just feels like it flows really well. It feels like it does it in a great way. I think this might be my favorite kind of semi-co-op game. This is different. This is strange. This has a theme that will make people laugh when you say like, yeah, this is this game about you building rails and getting resources. Oh, and by the way, halfway through the game, Cthulhu comes and tries to kill you. People would be like, what did you just say now? Because it's so strange, but it works wonders. I am so happy that I like this game. This might be my surprise of the year. This might end up in my top 10 games of the year. I don't know yet, because I haven't started making it, but it's so different, so unique, for me at least, because I haven't played any games like this. It's kind of a great way to play a light war game without having to have direct conflict with somebody else, which I don't usually like. So in this, we can all have direct conflict with another player who's not playing like the game, and that works perfect for us. We love it. I love it. It's a great game. If anything here sounded cool for you, then go check out Auztralia. It is an amazing game from Martin Wallace, and that is the end of my review. Thank you so much for watching. That means a lot. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please consider doing it. It helps us a lot and it makes us happy. Please like the video. Please make a comment. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes, and you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings. Bye bye.